So I thought I'd do an episode 3 on Enter the World of Breakdowns. Got 2 jobs to go and look at now. One's in a nursery. That's an under sink water heater that's not working apparently. And then the other one is a no heating fault. So I'll go and have a look. This one will be a slightly longer video because obviously I'm doing 2 breakdowns rather than one. And the idea of it is just to show people that the difference between like being on install kind of thing where you book your diary up and then you do installs and you go to the job in the morning, you're there all day nearly, and then you leave. Whereas like breakdowns is a lot more like a bit more driving around, but a bit more someone calls you and then you go, responsive I suppose. It's not for everybody, but hopefully this video will show whether it's something you'd be interested in getting into, or just showing you how I run my business really. So let's go and have a look at the nursery one.
So turned up to this one, there's no display on that, so I'll whip the case off and check if there's power going in, which there isn't. So now I'm going to look for the switch fuse spur. Oh dear, that doesn't look good. They told me that the fuse wasn't tripped or anything, so I'm going to turn it off, pop the fuse out. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, no, that's not my job. Call the electrician, I'm off.
So I walked in, looked at the water heater, there was no display on it. I'm pretty sure they have an LCD display. Moved that dishwasher out the way. The switch fuse spur looked in a poor state. So yeah, it's an electrician's job really. Took the front off, as you saw. Tested for power in, wasn't getting power in, although the switch was on, fuse hadn't blown. So yeah, it's not my problem. So told them to get an electrician in. But it just shows not all jobs are down to us. So yeah, on to the next one. No heating. It's a backseat boiler, Y-plan system I think. So let's go and have a look at that one.
Turn up to this one, first thing I do is have a look at the boiler. That's not calling for any heat. Have a look up in the airing cupboard. Yeah, it is a Y-plan system. Pump's not running either. Just double check the program is calling, which it is. So turn them off, turn them back on again. Pump hasn't lit up yet. So I'm just going to turn the cylinder stat up. You can see straight away that the pump's lit up now, which proves that there's not a fault with the boiler or the hot water side. At first I thought the pump don't sound great, but it's actually that vibrating. So we've checked to make sure it doesn't lock out because it's overheated or anything, so that all looks fine. Let's just head down to the boiler as well. Green light means go, so it is firing for hot water. Let's turn the stat up for the heating. Turn the cylinder stat back down so that now we've only got heating on cooling. So it feels like there isn't even power going to the motor because the motor hasn't moved over. So I'm going to open up the 10-way and do some testing. Just double check, turn it off and then back on again for heating only. Go down and have a look at the boiler. Nothing's happening. So let's set up a torch so we can see a little bit better and have a look in the 10-way. We can see our zone valve cables there. We've got orange at the bottom, then we've got white, then we've got grey. So I'm going to whip out the breakdown Bible. Going to go to Y-plan wiring sequence, heating only. So programmer goes to the room stat, comes up to the zone valve on white. So we're going to check for 240 on white. So we are getting 240 on white, which has proved that the program and the room stat's doing its job. So now we're going to check for 240 on orange. Because it's basically just a switch, it makes the micro switch. So we're not getting voltage on orange, which means that the valve's at fault. It's literally just a sequence of switches. It goes into one component and out the other. So another way we can use the breakdown Bible is we go to our Y-plan basic checks. We go to our heating on only. We go along, we're looking for 240 on grey, which we're getting. So that's fine. Then we're going to look for 240 on white, which we're getting 240 on white. And we're looking for 240 on orange, but we weren't getting 240 on orange. So that again proves that the zone valve's at fault. So one for the plumbing police, I didn't have a sync-on motor on, so I literally just had the head, so I'm going to replace the whole head. Little tip before you take the head off, lock it over in the open mode. To take it off makes it a lot easier. And then I always check the spindle with a spanner just to check it's not the body that's made the head seize. So here's another little test as well. So you can see the pump's not on. I'm just going to make the micro switch manually. And it's come on. So now you can see from a different perspective how that head's broken. It wasn't motoring over to make the micro switch to complete the sequence. So the breakdown Bible can help you in several different ways. You just need to learn how to use the book, really. It's a new head. Going to get all that changed over and wired in. With the wiring, just literally do one cable at a time. That way you're wiring it back like for like. So white is heating on, grey's hot water off, blue's neutral, yellow and green's earth, and orange is alar that goes back to the boiler. So once all that's done, clip it all back together. Now we're going to tuck that back away. We're going to turn the switch fuse spur back on and then put heating on. We're going to put heating only on and then we're going to listen out for the micro switch. Did you hear that, mate? Now the pump's going to kick in. There you go. So 240's gone in on the white cable and it's come back out on the orange cable, which tells the boiler to fire up, which then tells the pump to kick in. So let's head down to the boiler and have a look. Okay, green light means go. Gonna have this house like a sauna soon. Made easy work of that, didn't we? Happy days. So I'm going to shut that up, go back upstairs, shut the airing cupboard door, and then I'm just going to fill out the job sheet. Just drop me a comment below if you want to know what software I use. But I've basically described the sequence in which I tested to diagnose the fault. Always good for me and the customer to have as reference. And then logged what materials I've used as well. Gets emailed straight to them.
Right, that one's all done. The place is like an absolute sauna now. Customers are really happy. Apparently a plumber had gone to that originally and said, nah, not my job, it's a Sparky's job, don't know what's wrong with it. And then they called the Sparky was like, oh no, I know someone will sort that. So yeah, and then I went. But it just shows using the breakdown Bible or getting used to the sequences of operation, and you know, it makes fault finding so much easier. And again, same as always, if you've liked the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, commenting, it all helps. And yeah, stay tuned, and I'm sure there'll be an episode 4 coming up.